Hey guys, Corey with iReviewGear.com, just doing this comparative cooler review. So I'm just going to jump right into it here. This is just your cheapo $30 no big deal cooler. Filled it up with ice. We're on day 2 of the ice retention test here. It's pretty warm out today. It's about 85. Definitely a warm summer day in my opinion. So pop this open, take a look here. As you can see, we got pretty significant melting. Definitely got some water. Definitely still going to keep your stuff cold, but there's some serious melting happening there. We'll move on from the junker here to the first one of the test. Here's the nice cooler. This is the nice 45, and you see here definitely got a nice block of ice. There's just barely enough room to get my finger in between that block of ice right there. So moving over here to the big frig cooler 45, similar situation here. Nice big block of ice. I can get my hand just barely into the cracks here, but still plenty of ice holding very strong there. That brings us to the Yeti 45. Yeti's got about the same melt going. Nice big block of ice, not a lot of water in the bottom. Looking pretty good. That brings us over here to the Canyon coolers Outfitter 35 here. Pop that up. Nice solid block of ice here. I got about a hand's width that I can get in between there, but ultimately doing pretty well. Which brings us to now the Sportsman, Igloo Sportsman 40. And nice big block of ice here. Don't see a lot of water, but I can get my hand pretty far down there, so definitely melting off a little bit more than the others for sure. This is the Kong 50. Pulling the Kong up here. Nice big solid block of ice with no real space to get much more than my fingertips down through. There. This is the Camp Chef 50. Their new line of coolers that they have. So filled this one up. Nice solid block of ice, but get most of my hand down between the ice there. So definitely starting to melt. And finally, the Kaisik 50. Nice solid block of ice with no real significant gaps there as well. 2 days, summertime temperatures, definitely got a pretty good thing going here. So stick with us, guys. Real quick, I just want to show this. This is the junkie cooler we talked about, and as you can see, here we are on day 3, and I'm pretty sure when I get back from my trip, there's not going to be any ice in this. So I wanted to show that now, and then we'll go through the other coolers when we get there. In the interest of not making this video be 30 minutes long, I'm not going to get into that, but trust me when I say not a lot has changed from what I showed you on the cooler video yesterday. So stick with us, and when I get back from my trip on Sunday, we'll crack them all open again and take a peek. Thanks a lot, guys.
And so here we are looking at a few photos from day 6. As I said in the video here, I had to go on a trip, and so I had to be away, so I had a friend come over and take some pictures so I could gauge the ice melt while I was away. So as you can see, coolers were still all relatively the same and doing really well. So the next time I was able to come into it was transitioning into day 10, which we're about to get into right now.
Hey guys, here we are. It is day 10. I decided to not do anything on day 8, so the last thing you saw was the photos from day 6, but the melt just wasn't substantial enough to really document it, and in the interest of keeping the video a little shorter, I decided to skip that. So day 10, here we are, Yeti 45 of the comprehensive cooler comparative review. So as you can see, definitely got some meltage happening here. We're about down to the last legs of the ice on here, but still holding strong. 10 days. That's pretty dang impressive, really. So gonna move from there over here to the Sportsman 40, the Igloo Sportsman 40. Pop the lid on that, and what we've got here is one chunk, quite a bit of ice melt here. I have a leak happening on the valve of this cooler, and I can't seem to get it to stop. So that is something to note. I have a leaky valve. That's why there's less water in here, so kind of a drag there. But now we're on to the big frig 45. popping this up, and still a pretty good block of ice in here. I'd say that's close to probably close to a 10-pound block of ice, what you might get in one bag from the gas station there. So still holding pretty dang strong there. That's really rather impressive. Now we're on to the Nice 45, and Nice 45 cooler, pretty similar. One good sized chunk of ice here. Not a full bag, but it's pretty dang close to that Big Frig cooler, which both of them actually are outperforming the Yeti at this point. To me is pretty surprising. So we'll move over here now to the Kaisik 50, and the Kaisik 50 still has an absolutely monster chunk of ice left in it. This is just absolutely crazy. Far exceeded any expectations I have, and I'm just really impressed by what I'm seeing here. So pretty impressive ice retention there. Now to the Camp Chef 50. Popping this open, and still got a little ice, still holding, but we're most of the way melted here. So it's still impressive ice retention, but it's definitely on its way out. And now the Kong 50, coming up here to Kong, and we've got quite a large block of ice in here as well. Definitely would have to say that this cooler is just slightly behind the Kaisik, and definitely these two are coming out as the leaders in this comparative review. And last but not least, the Canyon Coolers Outfitter 35. It should be noted that this is the smallest cooler of the test, so therefore had the least amount of ice. And so it's really kind of impressive to me that it still has ice in it. It's really shining as a pretty solid choice for a small cooler. You know, I'm really actually impressed by this cooler. Kind of holding its own against definitely some of the big dogs. And I didn't take any time here, took no time to show the other generic cooler because it is completely just water. It's been water for days now, and no sense in showing that off. But here we are, coming towards the end of our test. I think probably by the day 12 mark, most of this will be water, and likely what we'll do is just stamp our rating onto that after that. But thanks for watching with us at iReviewGear.com, and I guess I'll get back with you guys on day 12. Hey guys, here we are on the last day of the test here, and I'm gonna kind of go through this. This is the morning of day 12. I checked it out yesterday, I knew what to expect, so let's just crack into it here. So here's the Yeti 45, and coming into it, we are all water. I can tell you yesterday I checked it, there was a little tiny block of ice here, and I just wanted to see if it'd make it through the night. Guess it did not. So here we are, day 12, Yeti completely melted. Moving on to the Igloo Sportsman 40, and come here, same thing, completely melted, all water. On to the Big Frig 45. Big Frig 45 still has ice. Day 12 still holding ice. Pretty impressed with that actually. And the Nice 45 still holding. I would say that the Nice and the Big Frig are virtually exactly the same. So this brings us to the Kaisik 50. The Kaisik 50, as you can see, definitely has ice. Not really gonna just let this go. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's day 12 and still rocking. So on to the Camp Chef 50. Camp Chef 50 down to water. All these coolers that are melted though, the water is still absolutely frigid. It would still keep your stuff cold. Kong 50. Kong 50 still got a big old block of ice in it. I'd say at least every bit of a 10-pound bag. And the Outfitter, the Canyon Coolers Outfitter 35, still holding ice. The smallest cooler in the test actually, so that's really impressive that it had the least amount of ice to start this and still holding. So pretty exciting stuff. So there'll be a written review to accompany this, and then I'm going to go through the features of each one of the individual coolers. Not going to do that here on this video, but this was really just the ice retention test, and so hopefully it helped give you a good idea. I know myself, I was surprised at some of the results that I found through this. And so we'll kind of examine that throughout the written review. So hopefully you guys take the time to read that and stick with iReviewGear.com. Thanks.